What's going on, gang? How you doing? Today we are going to go over our Airbnb that we've been staying at. We've been here for going on a month now, and we're getting ready to leave. So we wanted to show you the place, talk about it a little bit, and let you see.
So what was your overall impression when you first got in here?
Comical. Opened the door, went to walk in the door, and the first thought I had was Hobbit House. Hobbit House, because the ceiling height, you'll see in the video, the ceiling height was just, it's short. But it was perfect, and we knew this coming in because, well, actually she found this place.
Yeah, it's in the description, and as long as you're not over a certain height, you won't have any problems. Don't do any jumping jacks or anything like that. And if you're in the bathroom, don't stand up too quickly if you're at the sink, because you'll bust your head there.
Yes, yes.
But other than that, everything else is good, and you lose maybe 2 inches going into the kitchen.
Yep. Because I'm about, if I haven't shrunk too much, I should be somewhere around 5'9½", and the ceiling, I can just put my fingers on top of my head, and then in the living room I get about so much.
So,
but
I'm 5'5½". I have no problems.
It was good, but nice though.
Yeah. So the ceiling heights were a thing. The decor, the place is very well appointed. It's not too much, not too little, and it's a variety of things. Very light colored and lively. We're here in the winter months, so it's a bit chilly. December and January are their cold months, and these homes do not have what we would have as insulation because it's very warm here all year long, except for these 2 months. So what the folks do is, like you see this heater over here, this radiant heater, they'll have one of those if they have anything at all, because the electricity in Portugal is very expensive, so we don't run it a lot.
Yeah.
And or they'll put on a house, really thick and cool house robes and really thick and high heeled house shoes, and you may see them walking out in the street sometime with them if they're just taking their dog out for a minute or whatever. But they've got the stuff down to a science, so everything's doable. Just dress, put on some clothes, make soup, warm foods.
We did do a lot of soup.
Cereal is not something you want to have every day here, and it's all good. And I like, but since they don't have the insulation, there is, well, I'm not saying since they don't have the insulation, but one of the things that is that comes up without having insulation is the noise.
Yeah.
You can hear more of what's going on around you.
Yeah.
And 10 o'clock is quiet hours here.
Yeah.
Just roll up the sidewalk.
They're pretty strict about it. I mean, and they enforce it. Well, I don't mean they enforce it, but everybody abides by it. So it's pretty common. And come 10 o'clock, really, I mean, all of this,
Crickets.
all the song, everything, just next thing you know, it's pretty quiet. So it's nice. I was impressed.
Yeah, so you can get to bed at a decent hour, and folks don't roll up at 6 o'clock in the morning or anything like that. Decent hours, everybody is cool up and down the stairs. You hear what's going on, but it's just going on.
Yeah.
So either inside or outside, if you're out walking on the streets or whatever, sometimes you may hear conversations that are really loud, and you're thinking, oh my goodness, is somebody about to go to blows or whatever.
That's just the way they talk.
That's just the way they talk.
They're very vocal people. Yeah.
I don't think I've heard an argument here, but I've heard some conversations that were maybe carrying between 2 people about 2 meters away, or maybe 30 meters away.
Yeah.
So they're talking up and down these thin alleys, and it's just like, okay, whatever, keep walking. But they're really cool, and just saying hello is a big thing. They're almost shocked when you stop and say hello. And one lady, when she was doing her laundry, and we were walking up the stairs, and bon dia,
Yeah.
and she was like, "Thank you for saying good day"
Yeah,
in Portuguese. But so back to the place we're staying at. Everything's cool here. The kitchen
Kitchen is small.
That's mainly your area.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, I get to be the cook when we're traveling, and well, just about anywhere. But it's good. It's good. No, well, I mean, anyway, she loves me. So I usually do a little bit of cooking while I'm here and while we're out, and it was good. I mean, everything's small. You got to kind of just be present, which is something we try to practice all the time anyway. But if you're present and you pay attention, it's good, because you will bang into things. It's a tight area, but it's been fun, really. very usable. Just a 2-burner gas stove. Everything's gas. There's actually just a little gas hot water heater, which I thought was really ingenious, because this place used to be at one point an old grocery store, and these places were built in the 1600s and 1700s, and I don't know exactly when this building was built, but it used to be an old grocery store, and I think this was a storage area prior to becoming an apartment. And so anyway, to improvise, not being piped with hot water or no room for a big hot water tank, they've got just a hot water heater and a little hot water tank that goes underneath the cabinet. You'll see that in the video coming up. 2-burner stove did fine, no more than we do, boiling a little water and fixing a couple little things. So that worked out real well. Had a microwave. There's an interesting microwave, actually. It's a little fancier than what I've dealt with any time in the States. It's like a convection oven microwave combo. So for those of us, or myself, not used to being able to put metals in the microwave. This one you can.
Don't the last place too.
Yeah, in the last place we were here in Portugal, the last place we stayed, same thing. So that's not something that I was used to, and we really went through the instructions and we're like, what? Are you sure?
Google Translate, and standing there watching it, waiting for that first spark to go.
Yeah, and that was new for us. So, but other than that, you got the small fridge, just enough for being minimal, being a minimalist and not.
No.
There's plenty.
In many parts of the world, that is the standard size fridge. That's the size fridge I had in Japan. That is the size fridge I had in England. That is the size fridge I had in one of the places in Germany. That is the fridge. You need to shop more often.
Okay, so I'm used to the big fridges.
Yeah, we go and buy all this stuff in bulk, and we got food that's in the fridge for like 3 years.
I'm used to my fridge looking down at me, not me looking down at the fridge.
And so here you're a lot more aware of what you got. And I think that really attributes to the hardiness of these people.
Yeah.
Because these are some hardy folks.
They are hardy folks.
I mean, I would not want Grandma to swat me on my behind, because Grandma is strong. But walking up and down these hills to get to and from the grocery store and other places, it'll put something on you.
If you haven't been to Lisbon, it's they call it the seven hills, or the
There's more than that.
Town of the 7 hills. There is actually 8 hills. The more history you read, but. So anyway, I'll tell you what, let's get to the video. I'll let you see the place, and then we'll come back in a few minutes after this. I think it's a real short, couple-minute video. But you can check it out and look at it, see what you think. It's really a nice place, and we'll get back in a minute.
You made this all by yourself?
Mm-hmm. I tossed the instructions.
Whoa, okay.
What's going on, guys? What do you think of the video? Pretty nice place, huh? So, yeah, I did leave out, we left out the bathroom, we left out the bedroom. Bathroom, what do you think? Bathroom.
Tight fit. But considering the history of this district, I think that they are moving along swimmingly. Alfama, which is the area that we're in, is one of the oldest parts of the city, and it's a working class area. I'll let you fill in the history on that one.
Whoa.
I got coffee.
Yeah. It was basically a fishing area. From what I read, it was a big port area with fishing area, and then there was the lower section was kind of the poorer section, the way I understand it, or the common folk they call them.
Poop runs downhill.
Yeah, and then the hillier, the higher side, they had obviously the higher income, and that lasted for a short while, and then the higher income folks kind of left everything to the commoners, and the commoners made a nice profitable area out of it, and it stayed that way until honestly about 6 years ago, and then really in 2013 the tourist industry really started shoving people
Well, I think
here.
you need to back it up just a smidge and say that they had a huge earthquake here in 1755.
Well, yeah, that was just a smidge.
Just a smidge. And that damaged a lot of things around here, and it tore up
everything but this district, really.
Well,
this
it did
district
affect
didn't
us as
get
well
this
because
bad.
they had the plumbing issues and whatnot. It tore up a lot of their plumbing, so a lot of
Yeah.
the homes didn't even have bathroom facilities working. So
Yeah.
the streets were special.
Yeah.
So
Poop in a bucket.
and watch where you step. So it was that type of transformation that happened to the area that caused all of this stuff to be able to happen. So everything had to be upgraded, the lines put in, all this good stuff, and there was a lot of late renovation done in these old buildings. Now go ahead. Then you got 2013.
Yeah, then the tourist industry started pushing, and Portugal wanted it. Actually, there was some changes in their government, and they started trying to pull the tourist industry in, and when they did, it really boomed, and they got a little more than they were bargaining for in a lot of areas, especially areas like Lisbon and this Alfama district we're in, because the people that lived here were, they were just a common paid, very just established, low rent area that most of the older folks could enjoy and live in and be peaceful. And then all of a sudden, they're getting flooded now, basically 8-1, I believe it is, by tourists. And so, yeah, that's when you come. That's another thing. I know that's a little offbeat, but you got to be mindful for the folks here too.
This is their home, and we're just vacationing. And our presence here actually raises their cost of living, because when you have tourists, you have shops, and the shops are going to raise their prices. You've got a lot of taxis. You've got tuk-tuks here, which I didn't think I would see in Portugal. But they got tuk-tuks, and it's those little taxis, those little 3-wheel, 4-wheel taxis. Yeah. They got some really souped-up tuk-tuks here. And so we caused the rent to go up, because now you've got investors buying in these buildings, and it's huge change in such a short period of time, and it's overwhelming to a lot of, especially like I say, the older folks. They're the ones that are really suffering the most. And the younger folks don't have the opportunities and can't afford to move out.
Yeah.
So there have been several protests since we've been here over working hours and conditions, pay, and then housing.
Yeah.
Because their basic income, the low end of the income, is lower than the lowest amount you can get for rent. So it takes at least 2 people to be able to afford to live. So when you look at the size of this place, imagine 2 people in the bedroom, 2 or 3 people in the living room area, all sharing this one thing, and that's because that's the only way that some people can afford to live.
Yeah. You mentioned that, and I didn't think about it earlier, but the couch behind us there is the pull-out bed as well. So actually you could sleep comfortably. You can have two sets of people in here, but still everything would be tight. Yeah, it'd be tight to live, for sure, because we get on each other's nerves, and we're just 2 people. There's not enough room to escape.
Not enough room under the stars. So in the bathroom, there's like a hose for the toilet. I thought that was pretty cool, because that's a feature that
a lot of people don't.
a
know
bidet hose
Mm-hmm.
type thing, so that you're not using toilet paper. You're actually spraying your bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you save a ton on toilet paper. But like the toilet that we witnessed in Japan,
Cold water wakes you up in the morning.
But the toilet that we witnessed in Japan, the Toto toilet with the bidet feature and whatnot built in,
Yeah,
that's the granddaddy
Japan.
of them all.
Japan.
But here, they have the hose like they do in India, and still it's so cool just to have that feature available. The shower is a little tight, and because you lose that same 2 inches that you lose going into the kitchen, you're not doing a lot of hands over head thing and whatnot, so it's a more precise movement. But as long as you are aware, and you can get past the person in the kitchen, because it's a narrow walkway to get into that.
Mindfulness.
Yeah, yes. I can get in there just going forward with my hips if I walk precisely down the middle, but
that's something too. When you search for these places, we get online. Obviously, Airbnb. I don't know if you've ever used the service or not, but it's a nice service. I think it's going to be touch and go whether they, how long they last, because it is overwhelming for some communities. But that's a story for another day. You can Google it yourself and look on there and see what you think. But Airbnb, it's great if you do get involved with them. It's easy to get a place, and once you get established with them and get a rapport, it really works well for you if you're traveling, if you do a lot of traveling like we've been doing.
The longer you stay, the cheaper it is.
Yeah. So we usually do as long as we can each term, and that breaks the pricing down. Since we do live cheap while we're out, very much. But the point I was getting at. It tells you. I mean, we knew everything about the place before we decided to book it. So, I mean, we're talking about the short ceilings and things like that, and the small and the size of the place. But this was something we knew going in, so it wasn't something that was a shock.
If you get a place, read the description and read the house rules.
Yes. And amenities. Make sure it's going to have what you want. Make sure there's a washer if you need a washer. There is a washer here. We didn't mention it, but in the kitchen, the washer's there. So you have a washing machine.
Nobody has a dryer.
Yeah, dryers pretty much doesn't exist, but there's clotheslines everywhere. You have communal clotheslines. You have clotheslines out your window. It's really been fun. It's been an experience. Portugal, itself, because we stayed in 2 spots now. We did a little time in Setúbal, which is a shoulder town, just 30 kilometers or so from here, right? So we did that and then come here. But and then the bedroom. I guess the bedroom would be the last thing, right? And it was just simple, plain. You see that in the video. It's just a place to sleep, pretty much.
The bed is comfortable.
The bed was comfortable, yep. And we actually stretched this out. I ended up sleeping on it one night because I got up to go to the bathroom and she decided to take the whole bed while I was gone. So
you move, you lose.
Yeah. So guys, do me a favor. Don't forget, if you like the video, please hit the subscribe button. If you want to keep getting notified every time I make a new one, then make sure you hit the bell button and it'll notify you. She's a goof. Thanks. Enjoy. That didn't take long.